Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Social Marketing with Eric. I appreciate you following along this show. Each week we try to give you strategies and tips to use with your social and digital marketing needs to get you more business and hopefully close that deal. So today we're talking about follow through, not follow up, but follow through. So basically what happens after we get you that lead all the way to the place of your business, and then you convert them to the close of business after that and then become a past client. So in marketing, everything is about generating leads and causing people to come to you and talk to you about your services or products that you sell. And we do all that for you. We basically get that cold call to you. We get the person that you've never met or talked to all the way into the door and holding that product in their hand, ready to say, I'm ready to go. But the conversion is really on your end. What happens after we leave that lead with you and they say, yes, I do want to buy this, or I do want that service, or I do want you to do this for me. So that's all on your end. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is how you close them. So with digital marketing, really our goal is to bring, like I was saying before, all those cold leads into you and help you sort through who's ready, who's hot, who's not, who's ready to make a decision right now, and maybe who should be on the back burner for a little bit longer. Leads can generate anywhere from I'm ready today to make a decision and buy from you, all the way to maybe 2 years out of saying, follow up with me, but I'm not quite ready, or I'm still weighing my options. I still want to decide what I want to do. The big one for that is the car industry. A lot of people look at cars for 6 to 12 months before they make a decision. And some people go out and say, it's Friday night, I have money, I need to buy a new car, let's go right now. So that's kind of the two differences of where they are. But once we bring somebody to that car lot for you, you're the one that says, okay, you need the blue pickup over there, or you need that red convertible over there, and you've got to sell them on why they need that, or help them realize what their needs and wants are, and help them to actually make a decision and purchase from you. So that's what we're talking about today, is follow through. How can you follow through with the leads that we get you and close that business? So number one, what's your conversion rate? Do you actually know how many people it takes to get to your store or your business before they actually make a decision? Do you need 100 people to walk through the door before you sell one? Is it 10 people before they have one person say yes? What's your conversion rate, and how many people does that take? And you really should know your numbers, because not everyone obviously is going to be the same. But if you took traditional people and averaged it out over a whole bunch of leads and said, what's average for my industry? Pick a number. Let's say it's 1 out of 10. Okay, so if you have 1 out of 10 that buys, could you get that to 1 out of 5? Could you get that to 1 out of 2, right? So know your numbers, know where you are, and then figure out, what am I needing to do to convert that ratio a little bit better? How can I tweak that a little bit better so I need less leads to fill the same pipeline? Because really, you're paying for leads. You're paying for the masses to come into your store, and to you allowed to get that presentation in front of them and say, what do you need? How can I solve this problem that you have? And then being able to close them on something. So maybe you can take it down from 100 leads to 50 to 20 to 10. And that way you're paying for less leads. Maybe you have to pay a little bit more for a higher caliber of a lead, but you're going to need less leads to make that still same transaction. And then we talk about this too a lot of the time. What's the value of a client? So if you do have 100 leads and maybe one of them says yes today, how many of them are going to say yes over the next 18 months that you can continue to nurture and work with and follow up with? We talked a lot about that in the last couple of weeks, is what are you doing to follow up with them? But then what's the value of that client over time? If you sell somebody today and they say, okay, let's go back to the car analogy. Let's say I buy a car today. Do I buy another car in 6 months? Is it 10 years down the road? How much did I pay for that car? How much profit are you going to make off that one person? How many referrals is that person going to give to you? How many more cars are they going to buy from you over the lifetime that you know them? If you're in the service industry, like a medical practice, we met with a chiropractor the other day who sees clients 4 or 5 times a week. In each visit, maybe $20 to $100, kind of depending on the services that are happening then. And the lifetime of a value of a client for them might be $12,000. So the point is everybody has a different lifetime of a value of a client, but how much are you really willing to spend to get in front of that client? Number one, to generate that lead. So if you need 100 leads to generate one $12,000 client, you got to know your numbers and saying, I'm willing to spend X on each of those leads, but maybe you only need 10 leads to generate a $12,000 client. So you can spend a little bit more on those 10 leads than those hundreds. And that goes back again to what your close ratio is. So once those leads come into your office or come into your bubble, how do you close them? What's your method? What's your conversion rate? And you got to track that too. You got to know where you are and know how you can get better. So if I normally close 1 out of 10 leads this year, maybe my goal is 1 out of 8. So how am I going to get to 1 out of 8? What am I going to do different? What am I going to change in my presentation? What questions am I going to ask different? How am I going to do this different so that I need less leads? I keep saying that over and over, but what's your close ratio? I think a great way to think about this is following actually your client through the whole lead funnel that you have. Lead funnels are these big kind of funnels, if you would say, that capture people at a high level, meaning that, yeah, I'm thinking about buying a car. So they kind of enter into that lead funnel at the very beginning. They just say, I don't know if I need one today or maybe in 2 years from now, but I'm interested in buying a car. And so you put them into your lead funnel, meaning that you send them drip campaigns, you send them newsletters, you send them information about new cars that are coming out. Maybe now you know that they want a pickup versus a sports car, so you're going to send them more information on pickup trucks and what to use them for, and what are you going to tow with them, how much capacity do you need, how many passengers are you going to have in your truck, things like that, what kind of gas mileage you're going to get. And then basically from there, you're going to say, okay, when are you going to buy, right? So I thought maybe I need a pickup truck now. Do I need one for the winter because I'm going to be doing this one activity? Am I going to be buying a boat? Am I going to be towing this for work? Am I going to be hauling people around? What are my needs? And kind of pushing them further down that funnel until they say, yes, okay, I'm ready to buy today because all these things make sense and I'm ready to go. So understanding your lead funnel from the moment that you meet a client for the first time till they actually sign the check and sign the contract and purchase from you. So take your whole sales process all the way from I've got a lead all the way till they make a decision, and follow that client all the way through and see where they go and then where they may fall out. So maybe you have a guy who comes in, you meet him, he says, I'm 6 months out, but I want to look around, I want to see what you guys have. Maybe I'm waiting for the 2019 model to come out because I heard this is going to happen. But then they leave somewhere along the way because another competitor took them. Or maybe they decided they didn't really want the pickup, they wanted the sports car. So where are you losing people in your funnel that maybe you could have caught them before they left and converted them to another type of a sell? So you need to understand your path of how the client buys, and then you need to understand where you're losing them and close those gaps so that you can keep them in there. And again, it goes back to just staying in front of them all the time. We talk about this all the time as a weekly newsletter. I think that's important because you're constantly in their attention. If they have car buying on their mind, and you're sending them all this information every week, even if they're not 2 years out, you're still giving them information. Here's this, these guys are doing that, here's some new technology that's coming out, Chevy just announced this, whatever it is. Just keep you in front of them and they're going to remember you. So the next time they think, I don't really need that pickup truck, I want that fancy sports car, they're going to come in and say, hey, do you have this car in red? I've actually been thinking about doing this instead. And you can say, yes, hopefully you have it. And you can close them on that when they're ready. So track your lead funnel, track your sales process, know when your client says yes, and know all the steps that happen along the way to get there. Know how many contact points you had to make with them. Did you only have to talk to them twice? Did you have to talk to them 16 times? What happened along the way, and where can you bridge those gaps to keep them in that lead funnel a little bit longer? Okay, that really wraps up this week's episode. Again, I just wanted to talk about the follow through. So recapping again, do you know your numbers? How many contacts do you need to have an actual transaction happen? And what's your close ratio to know how can I get from here to there? How can I step it up and get a little bit better? How can I get away with less leads so that I can become more profitable in my business? Maybe you want to keep the same leads but increase your numbers. You're just trying to cut down costs as much as you can and increase your transactions. And then again, knowing where your customers may fall out along the lead funnel and how to keep them from falling out. Keep them all in that funnel so that you can close them when the time comes. So my name's Eric. I appreciate you following along this week. Hopefully this has been some valuable information for you in your business. If you have any questions, I would appreciate you reaching out to me and seeing how we can help you to close that gap, keep more customers in your business, and win more deals. So thanks again. We'll catch you next week.